As the screens on mobile devices get bigger and you get to where you actually have a screen size that's decent video playback experience, you could actually argue that the role of video versus text gets different. I mean, clearly, when you have a device that has a screen form factor like the new iPhone 4, right, and the screen resolution is so crisp, you could actually argue that per sort of pixel, it's a better experience for video versus for text because the text is quite small. So the question is, okay, how do you create an optimized experience? Now, one of the things that Apple has done, which I don't think is great from a consumer standpoint or from a developer standpoint, is they force developers to make a choice. In other words, your Flash web page that you built won't work right on this device or on its big brother, the iPad. So you already have to reauthor your page anyway. So a lot of people are saying, well, let me just think about my video assets in a different way. And rather than having it just be an HTML version of my page where I'll just put an MPEG HTML5 version of the video with MPEG in it, I'll actually reauthor it in a different way designed for this screen form factor, which I think in a video context makes sense.
Let me ask you, what are the opportunities for monetization around apps?
One of the advantages, of course, is that Apple has, in the Apple part of it, there's a wallet built in with over 100 million people, 150 million people that have active credit cards on file and that you have the ability to use them. And people have gotten used to paying 99 cents or $1.99 for these apps. It's very hard to build a very big business around that, but you can amortize some of your costs associated against that. The advertising side has worked less well for mobile video, and it's going to take time for that to develop. There are obviously a few people that have tried to build networks to deliver mobile video, but it's been very hard for them to get to the scale point that you have, for instance, on video on the PC and on the web.
So you think that mobile video is more of a paid scenario now or an ad-supported scenario?
Well, I think the paid scenario will get more traction than it does on the PC for micro-payment thing, because essentially the iPhone particularly has a micro-payment platform built in, whereas the PC doesn't. So if you have content that a consumer is willing to pay $1 for, $2 for, something like that, the iPhone could be a good platform for that. And certainly we've seen that with the video downloads. But clearly, those consumers are faced with many choices for being able to buy things. So you've got to have a compelling value proposition. You just can't count on the fact that people will pay $1 like they're not being paying attention.
What are the opportunities on the upside or the risks of publishers embracing Android?
Well, per capita app usage on the higher-end Android phones, like the Droid family or the Nexus One that Google sold themselves, or the Evo, the Sprint one, the per capita app consumption is very similar. The per capita app monetization is not as high today, mostly because there's more friction in payment. And Google is working on that both through their own efforts and through carrier billing integration. And if you wanted to bet on them getting their act together, you'd probably find a somewhat less crowded commercial marketplace than on the Apple side. So there's much more money being made on Apple in terms of paid content today on the iPhone than there is on the Android phones, but there's also many more people competing for those dollars. So it's one of those things where if you're, particularly if you see a way to get on a platform where there's good carrier billing integration, which varies widely, or you're willing to sort of bet on Google getting it right eventually, then that's going to be a good platform. But the monetization today is lagging per download compared to the iPhone.
You're a VC now, so tell us about investment opportunities that you see, sectors that you're excited about or that you're looking into.
Well, I'm a believer in do stuff you know things about. So what I know about is digital media, digital video. I know a fair amount about social media, and Accel is a great place because of their very close relationship with Facebook. My focus is sort of, if you look at those as three different Olympic rings, things that are kind of involve one or more of those rings, two, ideally three sometimes, is probably where I'm focusing my effort. Accel as a firm does many things. It does enterprise type stuff as well, has a great relationship, a bunch of history in terms of the carrier space, but its biggest success today, you'd have to say, is Facebook, which is right at the center of one of those rings.
Few people spend time on 10 or more sites, and again, this is per month, not per week. So the average number of sites that are regularly accessed is 4.5. I think I heard this morning that